Hello, welcome everybody, Exploring Basic Ways group. How are you? Today I am talking about the basics of grids. I think this is the next on the list of topics that you had requested. And I try and do these little live streams about once a month in this group exclusively for those in the course. So today's topic is crystal grids. And I'm just doing it in a very basic way because the course is basic. Crystal grids is something that can be its own course in of itself because it is such a very broad topic and so much involved that we can talk for hours actually about crystal grids. But I'm just going to go over a few basic things of what can help you, what you need to know to get started, how to get you going. Hi Isa, nice to see you. Can you hear me okay? Let me know. And I'll throw in a couple of grid recipes you can try also, and some ideas of things to get you started with gridding. I've used grids. I've got one around my home, the protection grid that's around my home that I talk about in the course. I have that all the time. It's always active. I've got an abundance grid in my home that's always active. I've had a business grid that I had when I first started my business, and it worked very well, but I needed the space, so I took it down. I haven't put it back up, but I need to do that because it was very effective as well. So welcome Doris, hi Kim, hi Linda, welcome. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me fine. Good. So we're going to talk about the basics of crystal grids, and of course ask any questions you might have along the way. We're not going to get in too terribly deep because this course is basics, right? It's basics. But you will be able to make your own grids and get started if you haven't yet already. And they can be a lot of fun, and I really do think they're effective. The energy from the grids are very, very effective. So what is a crystal grid? First of all, let me ask you guys who are here, have you set up crystal grids, any of you? And for what purpose, and have you noticed any results? So please post any response to that. And while I'm waiting for your comments on that, I'll just kind of get started too. But what is a grid? It's an arrangement of crystals in a certain way with a certain intention, with what you want to get out of it, certain crystals, using the certain crystals for the intention that you use in an arrangement, and your own frequency. All of that stuff is kind of combined to help this grid energy work. Hi Jamie, welcome. No, Linda, you have not set up a grid yet. Okay, well this is a good start. This will get you started. And actually, I like to challenge you all. So, hi, Carol. So those of you who have not done a grid yet, after today, I would like you to try it. Please try it. Very simple one. And get your stuff out and do it. And see if you notice a difference. And come back to the group and post and let us know. Take pictures of your grids. Those of you who have grids already, take pictures of your grids and share with this group, so we can see what you're doing and what get ideas, because I have not seen all the grids in the world. I know some people do really intricate, beautiful, detailed grids. Mine are very simple and straightforward, to the point. But some people get very detailed and intricate with their grids. So I would love to see pictures of your grids and what you've set intentions for. And those of you who have not done it yet, please try it and post the pictures and what you did and what intention you set with it, and so we can see and learn from what you've done too. So a grid is a special arrangement of energetically charged crystals with an intention to manifest a specific desired result. So Isa, you'd like to do an infinity grid? I'll be talking about the various the various shapes that you can set grids in just a few minutes too. So the items that you'll need for your grid Hi Kim, never have. Okay, so this is a good time. Everybody needs to try this. Okay, so you have homework. I like giving homework. I've got my sage going here. It's burning good today. So the items that you will need are for grids. It depends on the size of the space. Now, if you're going to do a very large space, you're going to need very big crystals. But if you're just going to set up a grid in a room, say like a peace grid or a love grid or a money grid or something like that, then I would suggest sticking with the tumbled stones. I mean, you can get really big if you want to. A lot of it too has to do with your intuition, but you don't have to overthink it. I think a lot of people overthink and they're worried about making it perfect. Is it going to work if I don't do something right? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Start messing with it and try it. So what you'll need, let's start off with like something that you would set up in your space, maybe an abundance grid. I use tumbled stones because I don't want my abundance grid to take up the whole house. And it's only about this big. It's not very big. It's not a very big grid. So get the stones that align with the intention that you are going to set. So say you want abundance, use the stones that are aligned with abundance. Citrine, jade, emerald, aventurine, anything that you can, pyrite. There's so many that you are drawn to for that specific intention you're going to set with whatever specific outcome that you want from that grid. So you're going to need enough of the crystals to set your grid, and it can be very, very simple or very intricate, like we said. So just depending on how many crystals you want to put into it. So get your tumbled stones for that. Most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time, grids have a center stone, which is bigger. It's kind of like the energy hub of it all. And it's not necessary. If you're guided to use a center stone, you can use something like this, a point generator, or even a natural piece, or I know some people use the rounded freeforms. That's fine. If you're guided to use a center stone, put one, again, that aligns with the intention that you're setting for what the desired outcome is. So you don't always need a center stone. For the protection grids, sometimes it just doesn't work if you do a square like around your home and you can't find a center spot to put a stone. That's okay. It's not always necessary. But if you're guided to put a center stone in a grid, do so. If you're not, that's okay. Think about the location. That's another thing. Where are you going to set up your grid? You want to put it in a place where it won't be touched, where people won't come and say, oh, look at the pretty crystal, and mess it all up, You don't want it to be battered with the kitties coming by, walking around. Put it in a place where it won't be disturbed, but put it in a place where it resonates with you too. So you've got to really feel out the energy of the space and see, where do you want to put this grid? And you can always move it later, all of this stuff is you can redo very simply. So it's a little bit of trial and error in some of this. You've got to kind of feel it out, see how things work for you. So think about, where do you want to place it, where it won't get disturbed, where people won't touch it or animals won't touch it. So location is a big part of it. Maybe you have a piano in the corner of the room, or maybe you have a hutch, a crystal hutch. That's where my abundance grid is. Maybe you have a table, in the corner that's just never disturbed, or maybe a place in the bedroom, or a quiet second bedroom or something where you meditate. You can set up something that won't be messed with. Really think about the location. Another thing you're going to want is some kind of wand to direct the energy when you start the grid. It can be a selenite wand. That's what I use. It's easy. You can get a quartz wand, a quartz point. Again, don't overthink it. You don't have to have these exact things, you know. Don't overthink it. Something that has a point that you can kind of direct the energy with. You can use another wand that's aligns with what you are setting the intention for, you know. Other items, you can use photographs, you can put money under an abundance grid, you can put photographs of loved ones in a health or peace grid, you can put a peace sign under a peace grid, you can put some loved one under a love grid. I mean, you can incorporate so much. You can get really creative with it and have a lot of fun with this. It should be fun. So think about the things that you want to incorporate with your specific grid. You can put candles. That would be beautiful. Flower petals, dried flowers. I mean, it's you know, endless, really. Then take some time, once you've got your crystals figured out and your location figured out and all your little supplies, make sure your crystals are cleansed and cleared and ready to go. Then you want to think about your intention. Be very, very clear. I say this in all my courses, all my things. Be very clear with your intention. What do you want to get out of this grid? What do you want to achieve out of this grid? So say you're setting up a grid for peace. I know a lot of people do this several times a year, a peace grid, and we all send out peace to the world, you know. So maybe your intention would be world peace for every single person. Write out an intention very, very clearly of what it is that you want to accomplish with this grid. If you want abundance, specific, you know, put it on a sticky note. Write it out on a sticky note. My intention is fill in the blank. I want to receive, I want to have, I want to, whatever the case may be. Keep it positive. And it's good to have it on a little sticky note, because when you start the energy flow with your grid, you're going to want to say it, state your intention. And again, you don't overthink it. Make it simple. Don't overthink it. I think a lot of us get hung up on trying to do things perfectly. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always adjust. You know, you can always adjust. So, so make sure you choose the crystals for the specific intention that you are, you know, working with. I know some people that make grids just completely out of heart shapes. You can do that. You can use a few different crystals in your grids, you know, a few different types of tumbles in your grids. In my abundance grid, I've got like 4 or 5 now. I've increased it to different tumbles. I've got one center quartz, and it's in an infinity shape. And I've got citrine, green aventurine, some carnelian to keep it energized, some emerald, I believe, and a little jade piece, and a little Chinese little coin for luck and abundance. So you can add to it, and you can take away from it and adjust it. If things aren't quite working out how you feel is right, then you can always make changes. When I first set up that grid, I did notice changes right away. It's in the form of I'm noticing more things coming to me, like gifts or free things or huge discounts. That's when I was working full-time, I put that grid up. We both, my husband and I both, had received bonuses. We both received increases in wages. I mean, things changed, really changed. And I did notice a big difference when I started that grid. And so it's kind of it's evolved, it's changed since I've started it. And I noticed a big change in my business grid when I had that also. And it really started booming. That's when I had my actual shop. And I noticed a lot of changes, and I should really put it up again and see what happens, because you never know. You never know. So when you write your intention, sorry, I just ramble on, whatever comes, you know. At least you all know I'm you know, you're used to my ramblings, I think. So when you do your intention, make sure it's a very positive affirmation. State it out loud a few times. Make sure it feels right to you. Feel it, visualize it in your mind, and just make sure it feels really good what you're saying. Wasn't my Buddha in it at one time? Did I have my Buddha in there? I can't remember, Carol. That's a good question. Maybe. Maybe, yeah, I think you're right. And I took him out, I think, to put him in my little abundance dish. Yes, so you can put your Buddhas in there. You can put your whatever that fits with what you're doing. Whatever that fits with what you're trying to achieve from it. Put it in your grid. You know? Yeah, it might have been. I can't remember for sure. Isn't that terrible? Oh, gosh. Okay, so you can get some, I'm going to show you the different grids and the different ways to use the different grids too. But you can print off grid templates from Pinterest. I got this from Love and Light Healing School of Crystals. This is a Flower of Life. You can purchase some already, you know, cloth ones. If you're like, this one is just a template just so you know how to place the stones. I don't think you'd want necessarily the paper underneath it, but you could leave it there if it resonates with you. The cloth ones I really like, or I have used the templates and then just kind of set it up and then removed the paper. So there's different templates for grids. Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of templates for grids on Pinterest. So you can print them out, get ideas with that. And you can also get, this is the cloth grid that I got from Etsy when I first started. And it's white. I actually used watercolor paint to put color in it. I just wanted some color in it. So this is the one I used for my business. And it's big. It's like a big pizza. So to set up a grid, you're going to want to figure out what kind of shape to put the grid. I should probably go through that first, and then I'll do like a little, kind of like a little where to place things on here. Grids. The crystals resonate with the shape of the grid. I mean, you don't want to just be like a haphazard kind of thing. Crystals grow in geometric shapes naturally. We've seen that. You've seen that. Many of you have some that are natural. And Hibiscus Moon really gets into the science of it. If you want to get that deep into it, this course and this is not the time right now to get that deep. But crystals resonate with geometric shapes, squares, circles, flower of life, spirals, infinity symbols. So depending on what kind of grid that you set up, that kind of helps the energy and the flow with the intention and the crystals, all of it combined together. So sorry this is backwards, but you'll get the idea. If you want something never ending, use a circle or an infinity figure 8. If you want something that's never ending, use something like that. And that can be used for most anything, really, if you think about it. The Flower of Life, this one here, this is good for anything. You can use it for any intention. It's good for anything. And you can get as detailed or simple as you like with it. When I did mine, I had little chips in it. I really got detailed with this one because it's a good size. Protection is really good with squares or rectangles. Now again, it's not always easy to put a center stone, and that's okay. You don't always need one for a protection grid or you know, for a square or a rectangle. I find this is very effective for protecting around the home. So square or rectangle for protection. Also, a star is very good for, oh, this fly here does not like me. Or maybe he does. A star is very good for transmuting negative energy. I did that where there was a pocket of negative energy in my house. I put up a 5-point star of obsidian, left it for a couple hours, took it down, and it took care of the problem. It was very powerful. Spirals are good for things that you want to grow. You know, creativity, grow your business, grow your insight, grow your intuition, grow your whatever, something you want to grow. So you can interchange, you know, try it one way, try it another. You can use the flower of life one time and see if it works. You can change it to the spiral, see if it works. You can change it to the circle, see if it works. See which one works the best. Hexagon is also good for anything. It's good for anything as well. And you can get those kind of templates on Pinterest also. And then in a few moments I'll share some grid recipes, and we'll talk about some comments that you might have or questions about it. So something like this, I'll use the paper because it's easier to hold. So say you've got your place, you've got your tumbles, you've got your wand, you've got your intention. You're going to want to put your center stone, if you're going to use one, in the center, like that. You don't always have to have a point. You can use, like I said, a free form. You can even use a tumble there. Whatever you're guided to use. Then at each of the points, you're going to want to put the tumbles. You're going to want to be symmetrical in a sense, you know. You can put one at each where the lines cross. You can put some in between. You can put like clear quartz points directing energy towards a tumble like that to amplify. I did that with many of the points on this big one. So I had my tumbles. I had a big clear quartz. This is a smoky, but I had a big clear quartz centerpiece. I had many points and a lot of tumbles in each. So I had tumbles in each of these areas, the big centerpiece, and then I had in the lines in between, I had a lot of clear points directing out, because I wanted this intention and energy to go out into the world. If you want to bring something in, it can kind of be either way. Feel what's right, you know. You can direct your energy pointing the quartz in towards the center one. Either way, you try it, see which way works best for you on those. Then I actually had some chips that I used, green aventurine chips, on this one. So I put little chips on little places like that. So I put a tumble stone here, clear quartz pointing out, and a chip here, you know, that kind of thing. So play with it and feel it out, see how it resonates, see what works. And once you finally get it all set up and how you like, if you like the feel and look of it, get your intention out, and then you start directing the energy. And when you do that, you clear your mind, you think about your intention, you start going in a clockwise manner and connecting the dots, kind of getting the energy flowing. I like to start at one area, and again, this is not a end all be all if you don't do it right, you know. Just get the energy flowing. You're not going to do something wrong, critically wrong, if you don't do it exact, you know. So just, and I think different people have different methods about going about this too. So you would say your intentions the whole time you're directing the energy, going in a clockwise manner. I do believe that is important because clockwise energy is positive energy. So you would want to start from one and go to the next, and go to the next, the next, the next, and then the inner circle. And then I actually like to take the outer and connect the dots to the center stone also. I don't know how well you can see that, but I like to connect the stones, the tumbled stones, with the center stone. And the whole time you're doing this, state your intention over and over and over and over again. Over until you finish connecting all the dots, you feel like the energy is flowing, And you would want to rededicate it, reset it every so often. If it gets dusty, you'll want to clean it and reset it. If it feels like it's not working, you're going to want to adjust it and reset it. If you feel guided to add something or subtract something, then you're going to want to reset the energy flowing again. Every so often, just to freshen it up, reflow the energy. Just take your wand and do your intention and just go through. Since I leave my grid up all the time, the abundance one, I just go through every so often and reconnect the energy just to make sure that it's constantly flowing. And just you can do it like in a full moon time. Just set the clock, oh, I should think about that. And when you pass it too, and when you see it every day, just take a moment and think about your intention coming true, happening. So some of the recipes, Hibiscus Moon has several in here too. It's a very good resource if those of you who really want to get into grids and get deeper into it. I suggest getting her book. But let's see here. For protection, of course, that's to release, reduce, or diffuse negative energy. Square or rectangle layout is good. Black tourmaline is excellent for that. I've used it for many years with very good results. You can use labradorite, clear quartz. You can use any kind of crystal that is a protective for negative energy or diffuses negative energy, like hematite, smoky quartz, any of those things. If it's outside, you can set it outside. If it's weather, like weather, certain stones will dissolve eventually in certain weather, rain, water. I've had my black tourmaline out for several years outside. My grid is outside the house. And it's fine. It's held up under rain. We don't get snow, but rain, wind, heat, it's fine. So you can also bury the grids if you're doing it outside. That's fine too. You might want to sage the space before you do it. You can do that with your grid inside as well, and you can cleanse it that way too. You can cleanse, and before you recharge it, sage your grid, just with the intention of clearing the energy if there's any stagnant energy there. And then once you get your stones in place, of course, dedicate your grid. And one affirmation for protection would be something like, I always like to say I release all negative energies in the space. That's just me. But I would suggest something in this order. I dedicate this grid to all that is positive and pure to protect from all negative energies. That's what I use for my protection grid. For prosperity, I would suggest the infinity or the circle, of course. Never ending. You don't want that to end. You can place a clear quartz in the center to amplify the energies, and you can use citrine jade, green aventurine, coins, money, anything that signifies abundance to you. You can dedicate this grid to bring abundance of money to me and my family. That's kind of what I use for that one. Love, you can use the infinity or the circle, and again you can use the flower of life for any of these also. Love, if you want to attract love or have continuous love in your space, you can use infinity or circle. Rose quartz are great for that. Clear quartz, you can put rose petals, add geranium petals, stuff like that. There's even other, let's see here, pink calcite, the pink, green aventurine, anything that helps with love. And place the clear quartz in the center and the rose quartz around it. And you can do something just as simple as just putting one center stone and a circle, and that's it, of the other tumbled stones, just of rose quartz, and set your intention for love. You can do something that simple. Affirmation, dedicate this grid to increasing love in the space to bring love and transmit love. Let's see here, health. A lot of us want perfect health or looking for health or something in that order. Flower of life is really good for that. use a clear quartz in the center, green aventurine, amethyst, labradorite, or anything specific to your health needs, because we are all different in that regard. So if you're trying to achieve something specific, reduce illness and bring in certain health qualities, look for the crystals that will help you with that, and then place them in your Flower of Life grid formation. And you could dedicate that grid to the health and well-being of, now you can do that for yourself or a loved one. And if you do for a loved one, you can put their photo in the grid, you know, in some way. Let's see here, job, business, hexagon, Flower of Life is good, circle, infinity, clear quartz in the center, carnelian to give it energy, amethyst, and citrine, peridot, citrine, let's see here, anything that you can increase your job. Of course, some of this or find a job or increase your business, whatever the case may be. Some of this you do have to do some of the research to find what crystals will help you with what you are trying to achieve most. But I think a lot of you have a lot of these things already. So the affirmation, I dedicate this grid to manifesting, and then you fill in the blank for a job or for the business to grow or whatever the case may be with that. And peace layout. Peace, you can use any of these shapes, the hexagon, the circle, you can do the star, you can do the infinity, you can do the Flower of Life, anything for peace. I like, you can even put like a amethyst in the center or a clear quartz in the center, lots of amethyst around, rose quartz in the, you know, all around, anything that's peace and calming to you. Add candles, add flowers, add anything that brings a peaceful energy. And I dedicate this grid to bringing peace to the space, or peace to the world, or peace to a whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So there you have it. There you have it. That's kind of crystal grids in a nutshell. So let me see if you have any questions here that I can answer about that, or anything else, you know, course related or crystal related in the next few moments. And please, yes, if you have a grid set up, please post pictures in this group so we can see it and what you set it up for. And if you have not yet done one, after today, please try it. Try a simple, you can do it this big, try a simple little grid, and, you know, put a little center stone in, a couple around, you know, a circle. See how, go through the process to feel it and see if you notice the energy from it after you go through the process. So, and then please come back to the group and post your response, what you did, your picture of it, what you set the intention for, if you noticed anything about it, all of that. Because again, like I said, we all learn from each other. We're all learning from each other, and our you know, all of our experiences too. So, all right, let's see here. Hi, Karen. Welcome, and Dawn. So, any questions as far as grid goes to get you started? Any questions about that? I know somebody had asked about this a little expansion on this, and I didn't get too much into the course with this because it really is a very detailed topic, and I wanted to keep the course kind of all basics. But, you know, so do you have any questions to get started with the grid making? If not, anything else that comes to mind at the moment? Who's going to give the grids a try now? Did this help at all? Did this little chat help? Jamie, you have a lot you want to try to create. Definitely show us some pictures when you do. Show us some pictures so we can all see what you're working on. I'm inspired to set up my business grid again, and I've got to find the right spot. That's my problem. I took down I used my space where I used to have it. It's dedicated to a new job now, if you will. So I have to find a new place to set up a business grid, and I haven't figured that out. So that's what's held me back. You can also bring in, if you have a singing bowl, when you set up your grid, use your singing bowl. I know some of you have singing bowls or tingshas. You can make it a very special occasion. You can make it very, very special to you. Nobody has to see what you're doing, or, you don't have to worry about what others think. Oh, gosh, sorry. Do it in your own time, in your own space, and somebody's next door. And just get creative with it. Really, really get creative with it and make it special, make it special. Hey, Penny, come on. Come on. I know. All right, come on. Yeah, she doesn't like me to tell her what to do. She always likes the last word, too. Do the points go in or out? Maybe you said this already. That's okay, Karen. You can face the points going out to direct energy out, or you can face the points in to direct energy to come in. It kind of, that's kind of one of those areas where you've got to try it and see what you want out of how you want to direct the points. I like to personally direct the points out because I set this intention. I want that energy to go out. Sometimes, maybe if you are trying to attract something specific, you want to draw in, something very, very specific, you can bring the points facing inwards. Now you can also do an infinity grid with the points going all facing the same way in the circle, the figure 8, right? You could do a point and a tumble in a infinity, and then a point and then a tumble. I would face all those facing the same direction, or in a circle. You can do that too. You can do a point and a tumble and a point and a tumble. You don't have to have the points. You can just use points. You can just use tumbles. Again, it's no rules to what kind of crystals you put in your grid. It's something you have to work with and you have to experiment with and see what works, what feels right, what resonates, and I think a lot of times right away too, if it feels right or if it looks right. Sometimes I put a grid together, I'm like, it just doesn't no. But there are other times when I did my business grid and I thought, wow, that is really beautiful. Okay. And I actually kept adding to it more and more and more and more. And I was inspired by it. And that might have been part of the whole connection and the frequencies to help the whole thing. So try it, Karen, or just try it and see, depending on your intention, what you want out of it, see how you feel about it pointing one way or another, and you'll know. Don't question yourself. You'll know. Don't overthink it. He said this helped. Oh, good. I'm glad. Good. All right. Oh, good. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. Yes, once you get unpacked into your new place, Dawn, get it all set up, and we hope to see what you set up for us to see. Karen, you love the sound. Yes, she's a big baby. Oh, good, Karen. Oh, exciting. Yes, try one. So I can't wait to see what you all put together, and please share with us. This is what this group is for, is to share with what you learn on how to use crystals. I know the other groups are kind of similar, but this one is specifically for those, in the course, and how you've learned to use crystals by, applying what you've learned. I hope that you take these courses and read the books and all the things that I do and apply it, and use all the, wow, he was loud. Apply all the things that are out there to do, because there's so many awesome things to use crystals for, besides just wearing and carrying them. There's just, it's, use it, use it. Use the energy, use the energy. You don't have to have a printed format. This is just a guide that you can get on Pinterest or anywhere online. On the paper ones, I don't particularly like the paper, but it is a good guide. So you can set it up, kind of slip the paper away from it, and then it will look very beautiful. If you want to leave the paper and you don't mind, that's fine. That's up to you. You know, we're all different. We all have our own preferences. The cloth ones, I actually leave them on the cloth because I think they are very beautiful. The cloth as well. So you can get the infinity. You can actually see a lot of. You can get a lot of these on Pinterest and just print out the template to use, so you know where to place. You know, the crystals that you want to place. So you can draw it yourself. Yes, you can. You can draw it yourself. Yeah, you can draw it yourself. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. The main ingredients for the crystal grid is the crystals that align with what you want, the location of where you're going to put it, your intention, keep it very positive, aligned to with what you want to get out of it. Direct your energy in a positive flow, going in a clockwise manner. And I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. You'll know once it's up. I think you'll start to feel something right away, if it's working or not. And if it's not, then you make adjustments. If it is, you leave it up and keep continuing giving it love, you know, to continue its flow. So don't overthink the grids.